Okay then, folks. Here we are yet again with another fantastic episode of BS Busters. Now, I'm joined by Pinky Don, but he's currently getting something to eat, so he'll pop in later. We're going to be talking about something near and dear to my heart, which is baseless speculation on what the next Legend of Zelda or Metroid Prime game could be structured like, about all that fun jazz. So I guess we'll get into that later. But first, we'll go over a little bit of what the news of the week is. And I'm going to use IGN because it's easier. um, I know some people are going to be like, oh, IGN. Yeah, I know. I get it. You don't like IGN. So without much ado, let's get into it. I will screen share IGN. So yeah, there was a Ready Player One trailer. Don't really care about that. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be very good. um, let's see what else. Yeah, apparently Metal Gear Solid Survive isn't, like, from what people have seen of it, isn't very good. I don't know. How's it going, Joel?
Just got in, and how's it going? What's the topic?
We're just going over the basic news of the week.
Oh
You
God,
know,
some of the stupid that already is happening this year.
I don't know. It all looks weird to me.
I mean, how many people are blowing their minds over a Labo?
I don't know about blowing their minds.
As
I
in,
mean, you know
they're
what?
reacting very harshly about it, and I'm calling
You know
call
what?
you out on that too.
Why not? I think Labo is kind of like it's. I have three thoughts about Labo. As a business person, I think it's brilliant. I think selling people with kids um, essentially a papercraft set, an interactive papercraft set for $70 to $80 with a game made out of cardboard that's guaranteed to fall apart with consistent use in about a month to 2 months for $70 or $80 is, money wise, that is amazing. In my opinion, that is just brilliant. That's my first thought. My second thought is that it is innovative. This is something that, had this been made last gen, it would have been sold as kind of like a Wii U plastic peripheral, basically. That probably came with a game, like you know, we Fit, something like that. Except now they're using cardboard. I mean, listen, money wise, cardboard that probably cost Nintendo maybe at the most $1 to make, and a game that probably at the most cost Nintendo maybe, on average, if this was sold by itself, the game would probably be $20 or $30. And they're passing that cost along to consumers for $70, $80. I mean, business wise, I mean, my first thought, this is a wonderful thing in terms of just the cost management and built-in obsolescence. Second thing, it's very innovative to use cardboard this way. It really sparks that kiddie imagination. But as someone who doesn't have kids, and actually, I'm kind of conscientious with my money, I
would say
think this is
cost
kind of a scam.
cautious, but
I'm conscientious of how much money I spend on entertainment, and the fact that someone would, like, for me, as someone who was really into papercraft when I
I
was
was
a
gonna
kid.
say, if it was targeted towards the kids and kids at heart, then it probably isn't for you then, because of how
Well, I
easily this
mean,
is going to be pricing up if you're trying to get replacement parts.
for me, it's kind of like for me, the concept of buying a like here's the thing. People who've seen my videos where I'm like, well, fuck this. It's not that I don't appreciate what Nintendo's doing. I do, in terms of the creativity part of it. You know, when I was a kid, I was really into papercraft. Like, I'm one of those people who would go to the Museum of American History in where I live, and basically they would be selling like in the gift shop they would have Indiana Jones papercraft, they would have Star Wars papercraft, and paper, like all types of Star Wars papercraft. It was ridiculous. And so I'm not unfamiliar with expensive ass papercraft, okay? Because this was like back in the day, like they were selling like Death Star and
Back
Star
guys.
Destroyer. How's it going? And Star Destroyer papercraft. So I mean, price wise, I'm not really. It's not that. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that they're selling this to kids. Unless your kid has OCD, kids tear shit apart. And they're selling this for $70 to $80, something that's built to kind of fall apart because it's cardboard, for $70 or $80. And if your parents like, that was fun to play with my kids, I want to get another one, that's another $70 or $80. You get, I mean, unless they're selling individual sets. Yeah.
That's the thing.
But are they giving cardboards for free, the replacements?
Audio.
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't. Like, here's the thing, and this could be my bad. I could be jumping the gun because I don't have all the information. I just know the price. I know that it's made out of cardboard. I guess you could say that it's this price because because the cardboard isn't normal cardboard. It's impregnated with like amiibo technology, kind of like they did with the Mario cereal. But I mean, I don't know. That could be the case. My thing is just like, I mean, like I said, I know little kids, and I know that if people have, especially if you have more than one kid, because kids are, unless your kid has OCD, generally speaking, kids tear stuff up. If you give kids something, they will tear it up. So basically, you make this with your kids, they have fun with it.
But isn't that only for like the very little kids, like 3-year-olds?
No.
This is aimed towards kids that are between about 8 and 13.
I'm gonna keep it real. I have seen, I'm just gonna tell you a little personal story. When I was a kid, I was an only child, and I had tons and tons of toys. But I was very conscientious about my toys. I destroyed very few of my toys. Very few of my toys when I was a kid.
One of my nephews is like that too, so I could get the point.
Yeah. Now, when my parents got divorced, I got a lot of my toys with me, and we lived with my grandparents for a while. And there were these kids next to me that lived next to us, that lived in one of my grandparents' rental houses, and I just gave them all my toys. And I had like a radio flyer wagon and all these awesome toys. Within a week, those toys were destroyed. And these kids ranged in age from like 7 all the way up to like 12, 13 years old. So basically, it just depends on what type of kids you're giving this to. But my general thing is that children, just from normal wear and tear, will tear apart even well-made stuff. This is fucking cardboard. You understand what I'm saying?
It's got low HP already.
Yeah, and I know some people are saying, well, this is Nintendo. Nintendo makes stuff. Look, I don't care how tough Nintendo makes stuff. This is cardboard, folks, and rubber bands.
Unless the cardboard itself is made out of Nintendo.
One could only wish.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, I just don't. I cannot legitimately. I cannot legitimately say that I mean, let me put it this way. This is going to be something fun that parents do with their kids. Like you get it for Christmas, you make it with your kids, you have for maybe a month until your kids tear it up, and then that's it. Like I don't see this being as big as people think it's going to be, but it's going to make money regardless because Nintendo is basically selling you a $20, $30, like what would have been a pack-in game back in the day with the Wii. They're selling it to you for $70 or to $80. Plus, if they have more complex kits later on down the line, they're probably going to sell it to you for, it can crack $100, $120, $130.
Depending on
But it might inspire kids to grow up to become engineers and create stuff.
Well, they have a product
inspire
like
people to play the guitar.
Yeah, they have a product that inspires kids to create things. It's called Lego. And unlike cardboard, Lego lasts practically for friggin' ever. I know because I've stepped on them.
I was about to say,
but Lego's not as complex as cardboard.
What?
Lego's not as complex as cardboard.
No, I mean, have you seen the shit people have built with Lego?
And I'm going to say this right now. There's some builds that require over 1 million Legos.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Lego's more complex than cardboard. I mean, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen some of the stuff. Like I've been to like junior builder Lego competitions. Like I've not like participated. I've like gone to see the final works, and these were kids that were like, I think between like 9 to 12 is the age range for the junior Lego builders.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they were building some shit that like, and these were just kids by themselves. A lot of them. Like I think they changed the rules a few years ago where like it used to be parents could like help, like they couldn't build it, but they could like help with like electronics and stuff. But now it's like they got to do it by themselves, and they're doing shit that's way more complicated than you're seeing with Labo. Now, I mean, we just saw, the commercial demos and stuff like that, but I mean, Lego is, oh God. I've seen people make cars with Legos, like working little radio-controlled cars.
There's some interest. I mean, I even saw some mobile suits made with Legos, and they have, or an Iron Man armor, and those things have working beeping lights.
And I mean, people making
fan art I've seen fan art of cardboard waifus.
Yeah, but I mean that's not nearly as, to me, okay. Making impressive. A figurine out of cardboard is cool, but it's not as impressive as someone making, especially if someone makes a working model out of basic Lego parts without a builder kit or blueprints. Like I've seen people do that, and it's like, that is really impressive to me, but that's just me. Of course, Legos are also really expensive. So, I mean, these are both really expensive things. I think that the Nintendo Switch Labo may be a bit easier on the pocketbook than Legos because Legos are really friggin' expensive. But that's neither here nor there. Those are just my 3 thoughts. I think it's innovative in terms of just like, this is a toy, and Nintendo at their core are a toy company. They make games and stuff, but they're a toy company at heart. I think it's innovative in terms of, it's cunning in terms of a business play because they're selling people. I mean, this is the most expensive cardboard box you'll ever get. I mean, almost. I think the Lego electronic, not Lego, the papercraft electronic Star Destroyer that you could get back in the day was like $130. But you could put electronics in it to make it light up, and it had sound and stuff. So maybe that's why it was more expensive. So yeah, I mean, I personally would never buy this shit. But I mean, if other people want to, give their money for a product that's built to fall apart, and knock yourself
out. With me, I actually like the idea. It may not be my thing to buy, but if anyone has any builders, even if it lasts for about a month or or at least 3 if you're careful, mind you, then this is actually a great item. And
Yeah.
if anything, this could actually be this could be an evergreen item because of the fact that you could actually get cardboard, and if they sell the cardboard for a good price, like about $5 for each individual game, or 30
Come on,
for a full
this is
set.
Nintendo. They're probably going to sell it for like $10 to $20, depending on the set.
I'm trying to be generous here and give them a benefit of doubt.
Yeah, but I mean, these are the same. These are the same people who sold a port for full market price with like 2 new characters and a battle mode. So, I mean, at this point, I can't give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their pricing. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to say, you just be prepared for it to be kind of overpriced for what it is.
I'm expecting Nintendo Labo to get representation in the next Smash game in the form of items or stages.
I say stages.
Yeah, it could be.
Not items.
Well, I mean, probably both. What they'll probably do is there might be a stage where it's basically a Labo kit, and you can attack various parts of the kit in order to fold and bend it and make it do stuff like of the stage. It could also be an item that you pick up, and it like depending on what combination of buttons you press, you can make it do stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's really cool. Look, listen, Nintendo at its core is a toy company. I'm glad they're making money. I mean, I personally feel that it's a shameless cash grab, although charmingly packaged in cardboard, but a shameless cash grab.
Seems you're in the minority here, because every one of us here in Video Game Fags are extremely happy about this news.
I think I think the people who commented are happy about the news. Because there's always going to be people with dissenting voices. Like I said, it's very innovative. I personally wouldn't get it. I think if you have kids, or you're just like that type of Nintendo fan that you'll buy anything they put out, then this is going to be fun for you. A nice little thing for you to make.
A reasonable thing for me.
Yeah, I think the pricing is a little too high. I wouldn't get it, but look,
for me, I say iffy, but I have to wait and see.
Yeah, the pricing is what kind of prevents me from wanting to get it. So, yeah, like $70-$80 or cardboard. Like, well, it comes with the game. I'm like, yeah, no, not $70 or $80. Let me put it this way: Nintendo's games are good, but I typically wouldn't want to spend more than $60 for them unless it's a premium set. Like I got the Smash Brothers thing that came with a GameCube controller and the connector and all that stuff for like $99. Okay, fair enough. That came with some extra stuff. But I mean,
I'm debating whether or not I should buy Labo when it comes out.
It's $70 or $80 for games that feel like they really should have just been pack-ins for the Switch, and cardboard. That's where I'm kind of like, no, fuck you, Nintendo. No, I mean, I know some people are really looking forward to it. I know some people, yeah, I'm gonna do it with my kids. Good for you. I work hard for my money. And
I see more.
I don't have kids. I have a dog.
I see this as more of a way of opening possibility space.
Look, I understand. Like, here's the thing, okay? This is something that 2 gens ago you would have gotten a weird Wii peripheral for. And you probably would have played that one game with the peripheral, and it probably would have stayed in your closet after you finished with it, like the Wii Fit board or whatever. So I understand why Nintendo is going with the cardboard route, because they don't want to sell people a peripheral that they're not going to use. And they don't want to be stuck into a peripheral that they're not going to use. But at the end of the day,
it's at least better than the current state of VR, where it's nothing but Ugandan Knuckles and Ernie gangs.
I don't know, man. Ugandan Knuckles is hilarious.
Oh my
this is
God.
the way. This is the way. I find it hilarious. Actually,
I find this stupid and silly.
No, it's not that I have anything against Ugandan Knuckles. I just think the problem with VR is this. VR by its very nature takes you out of the game. I know people are like, I'm so immersed. It's not immersive because you're strapping shit to your head.
I was about to say, you're nulling your senses. You're holding yourself in one spot, and in that sense, you're likely gonna get yourself robbed of everything around you before you realized.
Well,
what the heck?
I mean, the genres that would do best with VR are genres that aren't really. They're not really represented well in the video game market. Like
they're out there.
I know everyone thinks, well, first-person shooters. The way first-person shooters are now, I would not want to play them in VR because there's just too much shit going on for VR to really make it useful. But if
I was going to say, among other things,
if you're playing an adventure game or an investigation game, like a game that's got kind of a methodical pace, you have to examine stuff. Like if they made a first-person Phoenix Wright game, VR would be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Fudge, yes.
Like if they were like, objection, here's my evidence, like that would make sense. Or if they made like a Sherlock Holmes or investigation type game, or a game where you have to like search stuff and ask people questions, VR would work really well. But the problem is that they're making games where VR is kind of like, it feels very gimmicky and it's not elevating the gameplay. It's kind of like this. It's like motion control with the Wii felt like there are games that you really could not imagine playing without motion control. Like I can't imagine playing Twilight Princess without motion control. It doesn't feel right without motion control. I can't imagine playing a Mario game without some type of motion control nowadays. It feels weird to play a Mario game without some type of motion control. But most of the games that have VR, it's like, if you took this out and just made it normal, I wouldn't feel upset, I wouldn't be angry,
That's the thing with VR.
To some, the lack of motion controls in a traditional Mario game would be they find them awkward.
Well, it's not like the whole game revolves around motion control. It's like it's there, like
it's a portion.
The only game that motion control I think was kind of necessary was Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 because you needed to use the waggle in order to use your spin move. But even then, that wasn't really obtrusive. Except for maybe in the first game where you had to use like the Wiimote in a certain way in order to balance and ride some of the animals in some of the levels, and that was kind of
God,
that was kind of annoying. Yeah, but they fixed that with the second game. They took a lot of those out of it and made it less sensitive, so it was not as much of a pain in the rear. But for those of you listening, we kind of got derailed a little bit on
the news.
On the news, but hey, what the hell? We're human. We're allowed to get derailed off the news sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, leave them in the comment section. You know how this goes.
Well,
you know the rules. Eventually. You know what this is about.
Let's see any news lately this week.
Other than Mario Pokenerd, I would like for you to join, but the thing is that right now we're kind of we've kind of locked it down. So, but I'll tell you, next time we have a podcast. We have a podcast. We have a podcast every Sunday from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to around 8:30. So we'll definitely shoot you an invite because most of the time we talk about Nintendo. I make no apologies. My channel is Nintendo centered and focused, so I can't really,
promise anything.
But if you have any other questions, you can leave them in the comment section, and we'll answer them.
Monster Hunter World directors has just stated why the lack of a Switch version.
Oh boy, I can hear it now.
I haven't even read this, but let me guess. Sony, they're trying to reach out to a different audience. Boom.
Let's see. Here's what they had to say. We don't have any plans for the Switch at the moment. Part of the reason is that the title has been in development for almost 4 years. At the time, we had to commit to our hardware choices. We decided on using the most powerful current generation consoles available at the time, which was the PS4 and Xbox One. So the decision was made before the Switch was even announced or on sale. For every title, we decide what the best fit for hardware is for the concept. We do not just look at everything. We want to kind of game concept. Where's the best place to achieve that? And for this title, it's the PS4 and Xbox One were the best fit for us.
I'm trying not to laugh because, let's face it, they had their games on the DS and the 3DS, and then they say that they were on the most powerful console possible.
So basically, it's the standard Capcom. We didn't know about the Switch, so you know what really happened. Basically, they want to reach for that. Like Capcom is reaching for that bigger audience because at the time when this was made, PS4 was taking off like gangbusters, and they were like, okay, we want to reach that. Yeah, we want to. Well, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, not really illegitimately because I mean, it's a console. It plays the games okay. They didn't stick they didn't stick their hand in their ass, dig around, and then take look at their hand and stick it in their mouth like Microsoft did. So I mean, with the Xbox One, so I can't. Like, here's the thing. It's kind of like everyone's like, 2017 was the year of Nintendo. Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not the rah-rah guy about that because I mean, 2017 was a shitty year for everyone but Nintendo. Because Sony and Microsoft kind of sucked, more or less.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that since Sony keeps on filling their numbers, that's why I said illegitimately because there's some things that I'm questionable with that.
Yeah, they do kind of mix stuff up. But I mean,
and the most highly upvoted comments. Capcom just import Monster Hunter Double Cross onto the Switch in the West.
Well, Nintendo's the one that's gonna have to do that because Capcom right now is Capcom's going all in on Monster Hunter World doing well on the PlayStation 4.
I like how Nintendo's gonna be publishing The World Ends With You Final Mix for the Switch rather than Square Enix.
Well, I mean, this is Square Enix. They have zero faith. Like, here's the thing, okay?
Square Enix, zero faith in RPGs, but 100% happy with action.
Here's the thing. You have a group of companies that basically feel like, okay, we half-ass most of them half-ass supported the Wii U. So and they didn't think the Switch was going to take off like it did. So they're like, well, shit, what can we do? And they're in that kind of situation where they don't know what they can do at this point. That's basically what's going on. Now, am I happy about that? No. I'm not happy that you have all of these companies that should be like Capcom should be putting more than just another port of fucking Street Fighter 2 on the Switch and a Street Fighter collection that doesn't include 4 or 5. Okay, 5 I can understand, but no 4? Really?
That's just total BS.
That's strange. That's very strange. I can understand it not having Street Fighter 5 because that's the newest one, but no 4? And like 6 versions of 2 because, yeah, we totally need 6 versions of Street Fighter 2. That's just, whatever. But that's Capcom.
They couldn't even at least give us Alpha?
They give you Alpha 2. It's got like 6 versions of Street Fighter 2, Alpha 2, 0, I think. Yeah, 0. And EX. No, it doesn't have EX. And Street Fighter 3, like 2 versions of Street Fighter 3. And then that's it. I'm like, no Street Fighter 4? Which tells me they're just using the same engine for all those games, probably. And they don't want to, Capcom doesn't want to splurge for a bigger disc. And they don't want to port over Street Fighter 4 because reasons, which is weird.
Probably maybe because all the versions of Street Fighter 4 may be too big for the cartridge, the Switch cartridge.
Well, that's what I said. They probably don't want to splurge for a bigger cartridge. Which, this is not the first time that Capcom's fear of paying for higher cartridge space debilitated a game. Hello, my Final Fight fans.
Or even the original Mega Man games.
Yeah. But, whatever. It is what it is. So I guess we can get started with the main topic, which is baseless speculation on the next Metroid Prime and Legend of Zelda game. So which does anyone want to tackle first?
Metroid Prime 4.
All right. Who wants to go first with what they think it's going to be?
Oh, boy. I'm going to regret this because, if anything, I'm not as much a Metroid fan, but I at least got a bit of an idea of where it could go, but not entirely sure if it will work.
Well, I mean, me personally, I wasn't even going to touch the story. I was just going to talk about various gameplay features and stuff like that.
What I'm wondering is they're going to bring back backtracking, because I know that in the last two 3D Metroid games, there were complaints about how linear they were and not enough backtracking.
Well, I mean, like, that's kind of like what Metroid games are about. Like,
going back and discovering what you can find.
Yeah. The Metroid games are about, and even Legend of Zelda to an extent, they're about basically going someplace and being like, I'm not strong enough to fight these guys, or I don't have the ability to go over there. And then you get that ability, and you come back there, and then it opens up new areas. That's kind of like the core mechanic, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I mean it's part and parcel of what it's about. It's like RPGs. RPGs are about almost the same thing, going back to areas that you were getting your ass kicked in. Once you're more powerful, and it's like, okay, now I can take on these tougher enemies. Like that's part of what it's about, getting revenge. It's like, these dudes were tough when I was level 30 and they were level 50, but now I'm level 75, so now it's time to get paid. I'm killing all of you. Yeah.
Or going to areas that you weren't able to reach without a certain item.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but I played Metroid Prime 3. Actually, all of the Prime games, but Metroid Prime 3 was really big on this. And basically, you get the ability on the pirate planet, you get the power shield, the shield upgrade for your suit, so that acid rain doesn't hurt you. So then all these areas, because the pirate planet is like the weather's terrible,
toxic.
Whenever you're outside, the toxic rain like hurts you. Then you get the thing. It's like, well, now I can really explore, and you feel this sense of, man, the fetters have been unleashed. I can now explore. That's part of the Metroid experience. It doesn't feel, because look at Other M. That's one of the complaints about Other M is like,
you're so restrained, and yet you aren't restrained.
Yeah, and the reason they give for the lack of restraint is like, okay, that's just lame, but whatever. But who wants to speculate first? Who shall speculate first? Who?
Let's see. I previously mentioned before a couple of podcasts back that I was wondering what kind of moveset Psylocke is going to be using for Metroid Prime, since we know that he's being hinted at from the post-credit endings for Metroid Prime 3 and Federation Force. It's going to be enough for him to warrant a slot in the next Smash Brothers game. But I also wonder if he's going to be, how hard he's going to be as a boss in the higher difficulty levels.
Probably not too bad, because he probably won't be the main boss. There'll probably be some other enemy. That's normally how these Prime games work.
Probably a different version of a Metroid Queen, because we know that the Metroid is going to be involved once again.
Well, I mean, almost all of them have had Metroids in them. Actually, all of them have had Metroids in them. It doesn't feel right to not have Metroids in a Metroid game.
But Metroid Prime 2 and 3, the Metroids were just there and weren't that important to the plot.
No, they were because the whole thing is that the pirates want to weaponize Metroids because they are one of the most dangerous species in the galaxy. And I mean, even though technically speaking, Metroid, the creatures that people call Metroids are not actually Metroids. Metroid is a Chozo word meaning great warrior. So really, the Metroid is what the Chozo call Samus Aran. It's weird. You have to get into the lore in order to really get into the whole Metroid thing, but whatever.
And did you guys hear about the supposed rumors about the upcoming 2D Metroid game?
No. To be honest with you, I haven't.
And of course, I took it with a grain of salt because usually rumors involving Nintendo are very false because we know how secretive Nintendo is with their games.
Yeah, they are.
People love to hear about all the juicy secrets that Nintendo have.
And I also wonder if they're gonna bring switchable weapons back for Metroid Prime 4.
Well, I mean, I think they will have that. Metal Mint says, I think adding more horror elements to Metroid Prime would be cool. None of the cheesy horror stuff, though. Yeah, I do. I think the game will be in first person, and I think they will add the
weapons change.
Add the weapon because I mean, it just. At this point, Metroid Prime does have a certain formula where you do have that atmospheric. It does have that like Metroid Prime is. It
does
scary.
Have that horror atmosphere that makes you feel uneasy about going into the next room.
Yeah, Metroid Prime is scary not because of horrific things that you see, but because of environmental context clues about what's going on. Like, I remember playing Metroid Prime 3, and there's this part in it where you basically figure out that basically it's building up to this horrifying thing, this horrifying realization where you realize that when the Federation gave you the Phazon enhancement devices, that and like before they gave you the Phazon enhancement devices, Dark Samus infects like the 4 hunters. Well, see, Samus, Gore, Gandrita, and shit, I forgot the ice dude's name. Oh, whatever. Anyway, he infects the 4 of you he infects the 4 of you with Phazon. And so basically, every time you use the PED, if you don't basically maintain your Phazon levels, you'll be corrupted. And you'll be taken over. So, but then you realize that Phazon can not only infect people, it can infect
other races,
creatures, and planets and machines. So, and then you come to the realization it can infect planets. That's what these Leviathan parasites are doing. They're infecting planets. And then you discover what would happen, because in the other planets before you get to the pirate homeworld, it's like, well, we stopped it before it got too far.
What would happen to see what happened if it got far enough?
Yeah, and once you see what the Phazon has done to the planet of the pirates, it's like, damn. I mean, it's horrifying. The implications of what this Phazon is doing is horrifying. And then the end part, the game where you're basically ultra infected with Phazon on planet Phase, and no matter what you do, if you don't defeat the boss fast enough, you're effed. I mean, I think that's horrific enough. But I mean, yeah, you could add more conventional horror elements, Metal Mint, I think.
And speaking of space pirates, I expect them to make a return in Metroid Prime 4. Probably not.
Well, at this point, they're just, they're like Metroids. You can't have a Metroid game without space pirates.
And Ridley, you can't have Ridley. You can have space pirates without being Metroid.
Yeah, It's like you got to have space pirates, you got to have power bombs, you got to have scanning. Here's something new. I hope they add ship combat. Like they should add how you could upgrade your ship in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, but now you can actually use them aside from like, hey, I need to blow up this wall, this big ass wall that's heavily armored. Let me take down these gun emplacements and have my
that
ship
would
blow
really
up this
be
wall.
a big boon because everybody keeps on asking, and I think we haven't had any of that since Metroid 3 or Metroid Prime 3. I'm thinking. Where the
or ship common similar to that we saw from Nintendo Land.
That's
yeah, but that doesn't really count.
Hey,
Nintendo, that was like, let me put it this way: that game was very, it was fun, but that game was very casualized for a general audience. You know, it was like a taste of Metroid. I'm talking when someone says Metroid, I'm thinking either 2D Metroid or 3D Metroid. You know. Or Federation Force, which was kind of like a co-op game. How's it going, Dragon Swords?
Managing, I guess.
We're just talking about baseless speculation of what to expect for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the Metroid series, and I don't know if I will because I don't know if that's to my liking or tastes, I guess, unless they kind of do something different.
Well,
kind of like Breath of the Wild.
If you want to have a star point
with the Prime series.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you want to have a star point, then I would recommend Metroid Zero Mission and Fusion for 2D, and Metroid Prime 1 and 2 for the 3D.
Well, no, not one. Not one or two.
You might have to. When you get into Metroid, you have to play in chronological order.
No, one and two are too. They're too core. I would advise it. Basically, if you have a Wii U, pay the $19.99 and get the Metroid Prime collection because you get all 3 games in one nice package.
I was assuming that he would go for each game individually.
Yeah, but
I would recommend the trilogy for the 3D.
Each game individually for Metroid Prime is really expensive, so that's why I said you just get, if you have a Wii U, you can get all 3 games for like $20. Yeah, which is a great buy, and I would advise you play Corruption first because Corruption is easiest to get into. It has the easiest gameplay to get into, and it has enough variety that it's like Metroid Prime 1 is kind of rough around the edges. Metroid Prime 2, they refine it a little bit, but it still has some of the problems with 1. 3, they've gotten it down. They've gotten the rough edges out the way, and it's easier to get into. And so if you're gonna play a Metroid Prime, I would advise 3 first. I think.
But wouldn't he be confused about the story because he hasn't played the previous 2 first?
Not really. I don't.
I mean, I could just kind of Wikipedia off of it.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think. Like, here's the thing: Metroid is one of those games that you don't really need to know. While it does have a deep story, it's not like you're going to be lost because it pretty much tells you what's going on at the beginning of each game. Like, pretty much, like, because the first Metroid game I ever played and understood what was going on was Metroid 2 Return of Samus, and that doesn't tell you anything in the beginning. It's just like, okay, Samus has been commissioned to go to planet SR30 something, SR133, and she's got to destroy the last of the Metroids. That's it. That's your story. Like, it's, I mean, it's, that's not a lot of information. And that's all you really do. And the first Metroid doesn't even really give you a story. They just like, you press start. Here you go, folks. 30 health. Good luck. I wouldn't say you should play Metroid chronologically because if you did, you'd have to play it like this. The first Metroid, then all 3 Primes, then Metroid Returns, then Super Metroid, then Metroid Fusion. And then Metroid Other M, then Metroid Fusion, and that's insane. That's why I'm saying if you're going to play one, I would play, if you get a chance, play Zero Mission and then play Metroid Prime 3, and that'll give you a taste of, like, Zero Mission is classic Metroid. I think you can download that or you can somehow get it because it's not a really expensive game these days. And then there's Prime 3, which, like I said, $20 gets you the whole trilogy. You can play Corruption. It's a great game. You know, whatever. But anyway, that we were just talking baseless speculation about Metroid Prime.
And I'm also wondering, is there going to be a mode to play as Samus in her Zero suit, like in LRM?
You'll probably unlock it. Like if you 100% it, you unlock a different suit, or maybe they might make it in the game where you can wear different suits for different situations. Although why Samus would want to be in her Zero suit, I'll never understand because she's really vulnerable in her Zero suit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes her top tier in unlike in her normal power suit.
Top tier in what? I don't.
Smash.
Top tier in Smash.
Yeah, but Smash is a party game. In Metroid games, when she's in her Zero suit, basically, if a pirate breathes on her heart, she dies. so no, I don't want her in her Zero suit because I'm trying to survive in this game. Oh wow, she's wearing a skin tight suit. Isn't that nice? Oh shit, a pirate looked at her heart. She's dead. Okay, thanks a lot. Jerk. Now it would be cool if if Metroid Prime 4 takes place, if it's a sequel to Fusion, and she has because at the end of Fusion, her suit like she fuses with the X parasite. Was it? She
had to get X parasite in order to survive because of what a virus did to her.
No. She doesn't fuse with the X parasite.
The X parasite saves her from the Omega Metroid.
Yeah.
Escape. That's how I remember it.
If I remember correctly, she fuses with the X parasite. No, she doesn't. She her suit, because now she's part Metroid.
Yeah, like I remember
the creature. She's part Metroid, and she eats the X. Like you fight Dark Samus, and she eats her suit. She basically devours the last X parasite. Which Fusion's ending kind of is a rip off of the ending from Super Metroid a little bit, with how the Metroid saves you, and then her new suit looks like at the end of the game, once you fuse with that with the thing, her new suit looks like her old suit, which I guess they're like, yeah, we know that Zero suit, that the Fusion suit wasn't quite doing it for you guys, so we fixed the continuity a little bit with how the suit looks. So I think that's what they'll do. If they do that continuity, they'll just continue the story, and
explain some of the things that might come in the future, like how she's able to heal up automatically because she's draining the parasites from the atmosphere.
I'm not down with that. I like her killing enemies and getting health. It's weird.
But that also means you'll be facing Galactic Federation troops as enemies.
Well, that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of ways the story could go. There's a lot of ways the setting could go. So, it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
But now that we've talked about that, let's move on to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to Nothing. No, I'm joking. The next Legend of Zelda game. So who wants to dive into that one first? Since you're here so very rarely, Dragon Swords, you can speculate first, and then we'll go on from there.
And be right back. I have to go use the restroom quickly.
That's okay.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with that it also might take a 5-year development because apparently all console Zelda games are going to be open world. So I'm pretty sure it's going to just probably take that much time.
Yeah, but a lot of that was them. basically porting it over. Like that was them making the game, creating the engine, working out the new formula, like filling stuff out. Like
they were crafting something extraordinary.
Yeah, they were starting from scratch because typically speaking, we get 2 Legend of Zelda games per console gen. Not one. We normally get 2 per console gen. So now that they've like redeveloped the formula, it would make sense that you would get another one. Maybe not next year or the year after, but maybe like, you know, a year or 2 before the end of the Switch's life cycle, they drop another one. So you get 2.
I mean, it ultimately depends, I guess. I mean,
because they have the engine, they have the world. All they have to do is polish up the engine. It's not like they have to make it from scratch all over again, because that would be insane.
Yeah,
really expensive. And Nintendo, look, we all know Nintendo can pinch a penny till that shit turns into a quarter. It's like, what? You turned that penny into a quarter? Yes, I did. I'm Nintendo, bitches.
I mean, I guess based on the timeline theory videos, I guess this will probably take place probably after Breath of the Wild. I mean, it'd be a nod. It'd be nice if this kind of serves as sort of a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Good. I mean, here's the thing. Legend of Zelda games timeline, everyone's like so concerned about the timeline, but it's like, does it matter? I mean, because it's like, I don't know, shit. I mean, I don't know. You never know. You never know. But give us a general outline of what you think it could be. Like a sequel to Breath of the Wild and?
Just probably a new Link. Probably a son. I don't know how it's going to work without.
No, the timeline's weird.
And it's never the son of the hero. It's like someone in the bloodline. But it's like, here's the thing. I don't want to think of Link having sex with anyone. I just don't. You know, this is a character who I saw grow up.
Break, right?
I just don't want to think of Link as someone hooking up with anyone, except for Twilight Princess Link, because he totally earned that. He earned that hookup with Midnight. After the shit that dude went through, he earned the happy ending hookup. But no one else, no other Link gets it. eternally frustrated.
Yeah, just in time to hear how Red likes to see all the other Links get blue-walled except one.
I'm just saying he doesn't. I personally can't think of Link having kids. Because would he be a good father? He never says anything except yells. Ah! Ah!
Well, we know that in Breath of the Wild it's revealed that Link does talk. It's just that
we only hear he. In short, people mostly think of him as the nice silent type that usually doesn't speak, but has something to say when he does.
I don't know, but continue. Right? Sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine. I guess it could kind of be sort of the opposite of Breath of the Wild, where it focused more on
story.
Focus on the story for this next game, and just kind of Zelda, Princess Zelda would not be kind of a damsel in distress. She would be more like a companion, and that could kind of work in itself. Side characters, I guess, get more depth. Whatever was kind of, I guess, the sort of disappointment with Breath of the Wild and its story, I think that'll probably be addressed with this next game. Yeah.
You mean how, like, basically, if you wanted to figure out more about the game, you had to pick it up through context clues, not through, like, very rarely were you given actual narrative.
Exposition?
Yeah, very rarely were you given exposition.
Some that they find that is a good thing because they don't want to be spoon-fed all the time of the story content of too many exposition stories.
But
Yeah, but Breath of the Wild kind of took it like they kind of took it in the opposite direction in Breath of the Wild, because there was like, it's like, this is vital information, but I have to figure it out through context clues, not through, like, it's not like I can go to a library and read something. But what were you saying, Dragon? Sorry.
Actually, that kind of became a bit of an issue, because trying to complete the main story, I kind of had a hard time trying to figure out how to like get through that Goron mountain, because I usually just focus on like doing the main story. And so when I actually looked up and checked how to like get through, it's like, oh wow, so I have to just talk.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That was, I mean, like I said, for me, like a lot of people say Breath of the Wild is the perfect Legend of Zelda game. I'm like, it's good,
but it's not the best.
It's not perfect. There are things that bring it down, like, yeah, I mean, that's one of them. Like, there's stuff that, like, there's a part, like you said, to get to Goron Mountain where it's like, well, you need to be fireproof in order to get through here. Like, you need to be, literally, you have to be able to withstand flames. And they don't tell you, well, you can talk to a dude halfway up the mountain before he gets too intense, who will, like, you can do little side quests in this mine area and get half the suit for free. Instead of,
And then you got people who take it even further by saying how Breath of the Wild is actually terrible. Just like that Warren article I shared. Plus, that the one you said that you agree with.
I can't go that far. I would say that Breath of the Wild is the most ambitious Legend of Zelda game I've ever seen. It's very ambitious. Massive open world, a living environment. But it's not perfect. Then I'll leave it at that. What were you saying, Dragon?
I would probably go as far to say I do not know if it was an excellent one, because of that kind of did sort of,
that took it down.
Yeah, that took it down for me with the
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Like I said, like, I mean, I'm not one of those people that's in love with Breath of the Wild. I think it's, like I said, it's very ambitious. It's like someone saying, we're going to build a spaceship that goes to another galaxy, but it only goes to another solar system. It's like, you aim for another galaxy, you hit another solar system. That's still really impressive. You know what I mean?
It's progress.
You know what I mean, Dragon? It's like I don't know what they were aiming for, but like I can kind of glimpse the scope, and it's like, wow, you aimed that high. You didn't reach it, but kudos for trying.
It's like, dang, you're not even that high? Impressive so far. Keep it up.
But anything else to say? I can sense you're getting to the end of your exposition. So any other things you want the next one to have that kind of fixes?
They could just kind of keep it kind of similar to Breath of the Wild and just, I guess, add more traditional dungeons, I guess. Yeah.
And probably make the first part of the game more handholdy until after you get kicked out of your home village and start exploring where there's no handholding.
They could kind of take some inspiration to the original Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles game in terms of just,
kind of like they unlock stuff as you go along so that you're not too overwhelmed with gameplay systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's more linear.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then at a certain point, it opens up, and you're like, "Well, shit! Look at all this stuff I can do." Yeah, that's actually good gameplay design. So who wants to go next? Now that Dragon has
burnt out a little.
Yeah, Jewel or Raph?
Well,
I
already really. Well, it's once again. A few podcasts back, I already mentioned whether or not they're going to finally add Link as a playable character in a mainline Zelda game.
Yeah, they could. They could give people the option of playing as a male or female Link. And if you play as male Link, you're Link. If you play as female Link, you're Linkle. I mean, it's not. you know, that's not really.
I mean, this is not going to be the first. It's not going to be the first. It's not going to be the first time Link is not the main character in a Zelda game. Because any of you guys heard about the long lost Zelda game for the SNES?
I haven't.
Let's see. Alex showed it in the thread.
It was. I know what you're talking about. It was.
It's called
Link.
It's called Legend of Zelda: Ancient Stone Tablets.
Yeah, and that game you played as either you played as an avatar that was either a male or female version of the player. So yes. I think you could play as. I think that they could have a female Link. You could, because I mean, like, just unless every single person born of Link's bloodline is a male named Link. So there's just a lot of juniors. That would be weird. So you could conceivably have just Link's soul in a female body and call it Linkle. It's still Link if you want to call it that, but it's just a female.
I mean,
it's out there for some.
Whole backstory is that she wants to be the hero so bad, the legend so bad.
Well, I mean, we've seen from other Legend of Zelda games that there are female heroes, so it wouldn't be that outlandish to have a female character. Although you'd maybe have to change some of her weapons up. So, like, if you're playing as Linkle, instead of getting the hero's bow, you get maybe the hero's crossbow or dual crossbows, like she had in Triforce Heroes.
And
Hyrule Warriors, yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. Like, instead of the Master Sword, maybe.
Of course, the only concern I have with this idea is whether or not they're going to bring back customizable costumes from Breath of the Wild.
I mean, me personally, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'll give my speculation after Jewel. I'll be the last person to give my speculation on Legend of Zelda. Who wants to go next?
Well, I was waiting at least my turn, so it wouldn't be that much of a problem. If anything, I actually agree with you guys on those. Though, if anything, I try to add some more, like trying to figure out what kind of game of control you go for. And with Switch, I would say if you go with controller style, then you at least have it that you can interact with other people with the regular way, and when you do it in two ways, you can actually aim in different directions, or basically have certain puzzles that require you to use both joysticks in a certain pattern.
That seems too involved to me, but it's your speculation. Go ahead.
I know, but if anything, that's the thing I was hoping for, that you actually get more interaction than trying to feel some of the things or try to feel more like more of the hero for a bit when you're interacting with the environment. But then again, that's just my ideas. And well, if anything, seeing Link finally dual wield something like the crossbows, or have two hands ready to, two swords to wield to at least double damage in a sense.
But he can't defend or something like that. Yeah,
cool. We haven't discussed about the for the game as well as the environment.
Yeah, because if anything, that would be its own podcast. But I'm trying to keep it simple here.
Yeah, we're not going that far into it.
But try your. How about you?
Me personally, I would just like a Legend of Zelda game that. I would like some more traditional dungeons. Like, they can keep the mini dungeons and stuff like that, but I would also like more traditional dungeons. The Megazords were cool, but like, I want real dungeons with real items that you use. The 5, 6 rooms that you got in Breath of the Wild were cool, but I want like real items. Breakable swords. I know what they were going for, but fuck that. Because I actually had this happen to me in the middle of boss fights. I'm kicking the bosses behind. My sword breaks
right when you need it.
And then I got to switch to another weapon. And it's not that bad because once you get to the end of the game, you have tons of swords, but it breaks up the flow of gameplay. I'm sorry. I know some people, I like that. Okay, whatever. I didn't. I mean, once you get the Master Sword, it's not that bad, but it's still not. That's still not
cool.
A
pain.
That's still not cool. I'm just saying, not cool. Like, I think they should take a page from previous Legend of Zelda games where, like, you upgrade your weapons over time.
Yeah, like, if anything, those upgrading your weapon is a bit of a better feeling in a sense because, well, basically you're trying to power up your good weapons to make them do more damage and help you
maybe add
keep
special abilities to them. Yeah. I would like, here's something new. I don't really care too much. I don't care what setting they use as long as it's an interesting one. Here's my thing. I would like for quests to actually mean something. I would like for your actions to actually mean something in a Legend of Zelda game. What I mean by this is, let's say early on in the game you come to this.
Like how in Breath of the Wild you can create. There's one side quest where you can create your own village.
Yeah.
So you can find stuff
well,
from.
I mean that's kind of what I'm talking about. But I was going to give my description, and then you could see how close that was to the own village thing. Because at the end of the day, you were just basically recruiting people to come to this village. And it was basically, you didn't even get a house in the village. It was just a new place to buy and sell shit, which I guess is cool, but whatever. But and a place where you could get like there was an inn. I guess that was kind of cool. But what I was thinking was maybe you go to an area where there's a village, right? And at night you discover that like the village cemetery, there's monsters coming out of the cemetery, like Redeads and Gibdos, and you discover there's a curse in the cemetery, and you can choose to help solve that curse or ignore it once you're aware of it, once you trigger the start of the quest. If you ignore it, eventually that village can get so ravaged by these monsters that the people who are left just leave, and then you can come back, later on and clear it. But the people come back eventually and they're like, look, you didn't help us when the shit started, so maybe they're hostile towards you. Or maybe if you clear it out then and you discover it leads, clear out that quest, it leads to something bigger down the line. Or maybe you could have a thing where maybe there's a village up a river and then a village further down the river, a ruined village where there's a whole bunch of moblins, but those moblins aren't enemies. They're trying to build that village up and have some place where they can live. They don't really want to go around attacking people, but maybe the village up the river, like they're afraid of the moblins, but they don't really know them. So you have a choice. You can either like try and bring peace out of a peaceful solution out of these two things. Like, well, actually these moblins, they didn't join this evil army. They just want to farm and live in their little village and not really bother anybody.
They want peace.
Yeah, and maybe the end result could be, well, okay, you either get you get the ability to speak Moblin, so now you can go into certain areas where monsters are, wearing a disguise, and actually go to monster shops and monster villages and buy special items that you normally couldn't get. Maybe you make friends with those Moblins. Maybe later on in the game you do some more like side quests for that Moblin village. Maybe you're in an area where you get ambushed and you're about to get wrecked, and these moblins that you helped out, they come out the woodworks and help you out of that jam. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like quests that affect the overall gaming world. Like if you instead of like, because Breath of the Wild, yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I cleared out this area and the enemies respond. But wouldn't it be more interesting to have it to like you clear out a fortress of, let's say, bandits, and new enemies move in, but it makes sense as to why they move in. Like you clear out a cave full of moblins. Well, now that the moblins aren't there, like tougher enemies move in because the moblins were actually there kind of crowding out these enemies. And now these tougher enemies, there might be less of them, but they're much stronger than the moblins. So, I mean, you know, stuff like that, like, you know, more traditional weapons, and fishing.
We want to catch our food.
You know, we have HD Rumble and you don't have fishing. What the And Dragon Swords, add what you want to add to your speculation.
Oh, do you think they're gonna put on your Moblin side quest idea? You also thought about adding "It's a Secret to Everybody" as a ref?
I was thinking about that, but let Dragon finish his speculation because he put it in the chat, but I want him to say it out loud because that's cool. Go ahead, Dragon.
Since Breath of the Wild was the first to feature voice acting and going to most likely continue that, it would be nice to finally see Link. I'm probably gonna most likely say because they already mentioned his name in Breath of the Wild. They're probably gonna more than likely continue that to like have voice acted options similar to how Shepard in the Mass Effect series has them.
Yeah, I could understand that, but I have to agree. The voice acting in Breath of the Wild, some of it was hit or miss. Some characters sounded great. Other characters like no. I'm an old school Zelda fan. I really don't want to hear Link talk.
Ditto.
I'm perfectly happy not hearing him talk, but they should at least have the option.
Or JRPG reviews who really wants to see Link talk.
They should have the option to have him talk. You're right. Maybe have a voice pack where you can activate it and he has spoken dialogue. Like I said, I'm an old school fan. I'm not used to having Link talk. It would be like, who's a cartoon character who doesn't really talk? Felix the Cat. No.
But he does talk though.
He talks now, but back in the day he did not talk. He was not Felix the Cat. Bobo the Clown. Bobo the Clown was actually the precursor to Betty Boop. He did not talk. Like he was a silent film cartoon character, but it was a cartoon. But he didn't talk. He was, he looked kind of like a mime, and he just kind of, it was all action. So it would be weird to see Link talk now for me because I've grown up with him not really saying a damn word. But I can understand for Dragon, who's more of a newer Zelda fan, to have Link talk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that would be a cool thing to do. Dragon to have, not Dragon, Pinky Don to have, like, maybe you do a quest with these moblins, and at the end of each leg of the quest, the head moblin's like, yeah, don't tell anyone, it's a secret to everyone. Like that'd be a nice nod.
That's a call out.
Oh, and bring back magic. Bring back magic. As a matter of fact, you could have an entire side quest where Link has to go to various magicians and do various little side quests for them in order to improve his magical prowess so that he gets more magic power or his spells cost less MP to use. And then maybe it could culminate with you meeting that demon from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and other Legend of Zelda games that curses you by saying, haha, I doubled how much stuff you have to carry, but he actually halves your magic cost. He's like, look at all that stuff you have to carry. Haha, it's like, actually, you did me a favor, jackass. I mean, I think that would be a nice little thing.
Callback.
Well, I'm a Legend of Zelda fan, so I'm always thinking about ways that could call back to fans. Bring back bottles that you can actually
fill.
Bottles you can fill, yeah. Bottles you can fill. And
with
instead of I know everyone's like, oh, I like the breakable weapons. Okay, here's my idea. Okay, to placate the breakable weapons people. Swords, and except for wooden weapons, because obviously wooden weapons would break over time. But metal weapons dull over time, so you have to sharpen them. Okay, But Link can carry like a field blacksmithing kit that can let him like basically you're in deep in a dungeon and you haven't reached the save point or teleport point that takes you out of that dungeon. That would be kind of a dick move to like basically have to lug all the loot out of the dungeon so that you can sharpen your sword. So you have a field blacksmithing kit where you can sharpen your sword. Now, of course, maybe you could have a side quest where Link has to help out a blacksmith and you can eventually become a master smith yourself. So then your field stuff is just as good as what you get at a really good blacksmith. But not initially. You know, it's like, man, this sword's really dull. Okay, I sharpened it to where it's workable, but it's not in great condition. Because it is, like I said, it's a pain in the ass. You're in the middle of a fight and your sword break.
Kind of like one of the side missions from the original Xenoblade Chronicles, where you can go, where you had to go transport back to the first time, just so you can fuse many gems.
Yeah, so that you can unlock the ability to make augmenting gems for your weapons. Yeah, I don't think it should have that level of backtracking, but I get what you're saying. Like, this is just me spitballing various ideas for the next Legend of Zelda game. As far as setting goes, like I said, I'm not too partial. Here's what I think would be cool. If they made a Legend of Zelda game timeline wise that was really high tech. Like really high tech. Like you had like a floating city, kind of like the Aku city, but like not run down, but like brand new. Like all of this really cool, high tech, high civilization stuff. But you find out that's in the past. And maybe you have Link. Maybe you can do a riff off of Ocarina of Time, except instead of a 7-year difference, it's like 700 years. And things you do in the past, in this futuristic high tech past, affect stuff that goes on in this low tech, like post-apocalyptic. Well, not post-apocalyptic, but they don't have that access to that technology in the past. So like maybe you could have Link like save this floating city from destruction in the past. And then you go into the future and it's still there. Or, you know, maybe you bury a treasure chest, a time capsule, but it becomes a treasure chest in one area in the past, and then it turns into a really valuable treasure in the past, in the future. Like, I think that could be really cool.
Set yourself up good enough.
That means I expect Demise to be the main villain then.
Oh, it doesn't have to be Demise.
Because remember, he is the precursor to Ganondorf.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Legend of Zelda games take place hundreds, if not thousands, of years between each other. The timeline, it's not like 50 years. It's like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years. A lot of things can change between each other. Like, it could take place before Demise ever existed. They could go that far back. Like, you know, because here's what we know from the Legend of Zelda continuity, from playing all the different games. We know that Hyrule is just a country.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we know that there are other countries, that there are other places. So you could have a Legend of Zelda game where Link is a traveler going to some other land, you know, doing something else. There are other gods aside from Hylia and Din, Nehru, Faeror. Like, there's so much other stuff that you could have. You know, I mean,
so much lore you could explore.
I mean, hell, they could do a story where you discover that Hylia didn't seal Demise away. They could say that before Din, Nehru, and Faeror helped to create the Triforce, the power of the Triforce was embodied in 3 primal, less powerful animalistic gods, a wolf, a giant bird, and a pig. That basically the pig and the bird were fighting each other all the time, and the wolf lived in the forest, chilling. And it's like, look, I don't care what you two assholes do, just don't mess around in my forest and we'll be just fine. And then you could have Demise pop in And the three primal creatures put aside their differences and did mortal major damage, but took major damage themselves in the process. And then Hylia came and sealed Demise away after he was, weakened by these creatures. But these creatures basically, their bodies died, but their spirits and the power that they held
lived on.
And that became the Triforce, but their bodies are still there. Their consciousness is still with their body, and they're the ancient gods that that came before Denare and Freyr. So you could have a whole religious thing where you have these ancient Hylians who don't worship the three goddesses or Hylia. They're like, well, fuck them. We worship the old gods before those dudes came. And you could have a whole thing where they're like a secret society trying to bring back their ancient gods. You could have the whole thing that the Trident of Power, those awesome weapons that everyone's talking about, the Ocarina of Time, the Trident of Power, the stuff that made the way they made the Master Sword. Those were bits and pieces of the awesome weapons that were used by these ancient primal gods, and it would definitely explain why the hell Ganon keeps on turning into a pig, because he's a thief. He's a thief, and he stole the Trident of Power. Like the Triforce of Power was never supposed to go to Ganon. He stole it, and he stole the Trident of Power, and was the power of that ancient god bled into him, and that's why he keeps on turning into a pig. That could work. I mean, it's like there's a lot of things you can do storyline wise, but I just think it would be cool to not have I like having Ganondorf be the villain, a real Ganondorf, not not Dr. Anderson from
Orvati.
Lost in Space. No. Anyone who's seen Lost in Space, like Ganondorf's second form before his final form in Breath of the Wild.
The spider form.
He looks just like Mr. Anderson from Lost. I'm like, really, really, really. I mean, a better Ganondorf final fight. I'm sorry, because in Breath of the Wild, that was not. No.
It was pathetic.
No. It's like for the journey was so epic that you would think the final fight would be epic, but it's not. It's like I had a tougher fight fighting a champion Lionel. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Yao, I'm sorry if I murdered your name, dude. Or lady, I'm sorry. Wouldn't mind a Legend of Zelda RPG spinoff, action RPG instead of turn-based. Would focus more on story, characters, and world building than main games. Ganon a protagonist handled by Monolith Soft or Sakaguchi. That'd be cool. I wouldn't want Ganon to be the protagonist because I just never want to see Ganon as a good guy because he's the quintessential villain. It's like he's
a perk that always wants to get.
But Wind Waker made him more of a sympathetic character.
Yeah, but he was still the villain at the end. I mean, here's the thing, okay? Even though they tried to make him sympathetic, you have to remember, because of Ganondorf attacking Hyrule, the gods of Hyrule, like Ganondorf, because of Ganondorf's actions, hundreds of people, an entire nation was destroyed. Hundreds of people died because of this asshole. Here's the thing. He's the only male Gerudo. Here's the thing, okay? You play Breath of the Wild. You got these tall, curvy, dark-skinned women. His only job is to have more Gerudo and lead these people to some form of prosperity with tall, curvy, dark-skinned women.
And he forfeits that.
And he forfeits that trying to take over a shitty country because Hyrule's not that great to live anyway.
But he did so for his people.
Yeah, he said that. That's the excuse. But come on. That's not really. Here's what you do if you want to do something for your people. You got these tall, curvy, dark-skinned women. Look, let them get scantily clad. Build a casino in the desert. look, that's how you build an empire.
I was about to say,
you don't go around killing people.
Build something that draws people in.
Hey,
kind of like
come on down.
like that bazaar in Breath of the Wild. Too bad it's going to be for women only.
Come on down. Look, there's a satellite bazaar. It's not quite as prosperous, but that's the idea right there. Come on down, folks. There you go. I call this Ganon's Palace of Silver. The Silver Rupee Palace. That's right, folks. And we got everything. We got games of chance. We got arrow shots, pot breaking, a maze. We got bomb throwing, everything. Come on down. Everybody's got a chance to win. Although really, the odds are really slanted in favor of the house. But that's neither there or here. And for those of you who aren't interested in gambling, we've got Ganon's House of Pleasure. Look at all these fine ass women. Look at them. Turn around, baby. Look at that ass jiggle. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. That's right, folks. Come on down to Ganon's House of Pleasure. That's right. That's right, folks. I mean, there's no need to go around killing people. There's no need.
No need for killing. But there's plenty of reason to swing.
There's no need to kill people or start a war or murder people, try to steal the Triforce. There's no need for it. There's no need. If I was Ganon, I would get tired of getting stabbed in the face, stomach, shot with arrows of light, silver, having a little kid kick my ass. At some point, I'd just be like, you know what? I'm done.
I got retirement.
I'm done. Look. But the spirit of demise. But we need to look, man. Look. I'm the only male Gerudo. Look at all these fine ass women around me. I have no reason to do any of this. Now, if you excuse me,
I got population to save.
I have a date with these hot women in my hot tub. I will not be attacking Hyrule this generation. Thank you very much. You can't do this. I can do whatever I want. I'm Ganondorf, the king of the Gerudo. That's what I would do, but that's just me because I have no need to kill people. It's just Yao. Okay, Yao. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Personally, I would rather see a Legend of Zelda paper game. Like a 2D Legend of Zelda paper game. Kind of like...
A paper Zelda.
Yeah, paper Zelda.
That'd be interesting, especially if they pull off the stunts that they did with the Paper Mario series. Not the Sticker Star one. Please,
no, I mean,
not.
Think about it. You could use time to attack when you attack enemies. Like you do use time to attack when you attack, time to attack when you defend. And maybe if you do it perfectly, you do like a counter. You could level up. Maybe the max level is like 30. Maybe you could have party members, a first for Legend of Zelda, because normally you're just by yourself. And maybe when you level up, your health increases, but that's it. You still have to find heart pieces and stuff like that. But
I was about to say, leveling up would actually increase health and magic.
Get another Tingle spin-off game.
What?
Please don't remind me of those rosy rupees. Please don't.
Well, I mean, that game's not that bad. It's not that bad. It explains, like, everyone thought Tingle was gay, but it turns out the reason he wants to be a fairy is because when he saved one of the fairy queens who turned out to be insanely hot, she made out with him. Actually, no, it's implied in that game that they went all the way. And so I can understand why Tingle's like, yeah, I'm going to dress up like a fairy. I mean, do you see how hot this woman is? Jesus. So, yeah. Yeah, I could, yeah. I like, The Legend of Zelda is such an awesome series. I just have minor things like fishing, real dungeons.
I was about to say, minor gripes or minor hopes.
Nope. Please don't break my weapons in the middle of a fight. Bring back magic. Quests that actually affect the overall gaming world. Like I said, like here's what never made sense for me in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? After you fight Master Koga, right? Now here's the thing. I killed these people's master, which should let them know I'm a man not to be fucked with. So why do they keep on trying at this point. Like, how many of you do I have to kill before you figure out not to fuck with this dude? Like, because at a certain point, a smart person would say, I ain't messing with him. Shit, stay my ass right here.
I
But
tap out.
Because then we will no longer have to face those kind of enemies.
I'm just saying,
because we want to make sure all available enemies are available for the player to face.
But that's the thing. It's like you fought a lot of them at that point. You could still maybe have a certain few outposts where they'd still be there, but it doesn't make sense for them to still be. Because I mean, like I said, it's like that just doesn't make sense. It's kind of like this, right? You play Xenoblade Chronicles Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
That's video game logic for you.
And once you get to a certain point, even tougher enemies are like, I'm not messing with them. Nope, not gonna do it. Not messing with them, because you're at a certain point. It's like they're badass enough to take out that person. They won't think nothing about not taking me out. So basically, it's at that point that you realize, okay, I shouldn't be messing with these people. So, I mean, like I said, like I would like more continuity in the world, more enemy variety. Yeah. I don't just want a whole bunch of palette swaps of the same 6 or 7 enemies.
We want variety, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if anything, they could have added an aerial enemy that you only shoot down with some bow and arrows.
More enemy variety. Give us a bestiary so that we can
check how many we've taken down.
No, so that like maybe a bestiary where we can take a picture of an enemy and then it appears in our bestiary, and so we can look up its statistics and what it drops, see its weaknesses, stuff like that. That'd be cool. Stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Breath of the Wild, to me, doesn't have any major flaws. Like, it's not like how, it's not like Mass Effect 3 has major flaws. Like, Breath of the Wild doesn't have major flaws, but it has a lot of small things that add up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed
it's like
the important Zelda enemies such as the Stalfos or the Poes aren't even in Breath of the Wild.
No, they have Poes in Breath of the Wild,
but they weren't called Stalfos over there in that game.
But they were Stalfos, and they had because all they did were a whole bunch of reskins, which, I mean, like I said, now that they've got.
But I don't consider them Stalfos because they are reskins of.
Yeah,
enemies.
But I mean, that's one of the things that kind of bothers me about Breath of the Wild. Like I said, it's a lot of little things that add up. Like, everyone's like, "This is my game of the year, the best Legend of Zelda ever." I'm like,
really?
It's good. It's not really.
It's great, but it's
great, but not excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, like, to me, the best Legend of Zelda is still Twilight Princess. To me, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, look, Twilight Princess gave us a Link that still, I would say, in a fight, Twilight Princess Link would fuck up Breath of the Wild Link. I don't care what anyone says, even with Breath of the Wild's Megazords backing him up.
Even then, Twilight Princess Link is no match for Majora's Mask Link.
Well, I mean, it depends. Is it Majora Mask Link with the Fierce Deity Mask, or just normal?
Well, all of them take account.
Because if it's with the Fierce Deity Mask, then yeah, there's just no chance. But if it's just normal Majora's Mask Link, I still put my money on Twilight Princess Link, because Twilight Princess Link can turn into a fucking wolf, which is badass as fuck.
And you can Breath of the Wild as a companion.
I think it's just that wolf, not Twilight Princess Link, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, in my opinion, Twilight Princess Link is my favorite Link. Twilight Princess is still my favorite Legend of Zelda game, because it's a refinement of everything they had done up to that point, versus them just trying something completely new. and failing on a lot of small things. They got the overall major goal. Like they got 85% of the stuff they wanted to do in Breath of the Wild. They succeeded at, but there's all this little small stuff that they missed.
It's
so
always
it brings
that
it down.
tiny detail, right?
Well, there's like small things that they just, like why can't I fish? This game has HD rumble. HD rumble would be great if you put the line in the ground in the water, and you could feel the rumble when the fish were biting the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put that to blame because it was ported on the Switch very late, because since the Wii U even didn't have any HD rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. Some people say that would have added to the time. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I'd rather have a good game versus a game out like missing stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I think we've exhausted the basic speculation. Anyone else have anything else they want to bring up before we wrap things up?
Let's see. Let me check any other video game news.
Did anybody hear a guess on? And it is about Xbox, pretty much. That there may not be a Halo 6 this year. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Is anyone surprised?
Halos usually are events when they are let out, at least by how I hear it.
I mean, let's look at this from a business standpoint, because we're all smart people here. The Xbox One was a complete and abject failure. Okay, Microsoft lost a lot of money on it. They haven't kept pace with their main competitor, which was Sony. They're kind of like an object of ridicule for the general gaming populace, right? And so basically, like at this point, whatever the next step is for Microsoft in terms of their gaming, they need to come out swinging. Like they can't have, Halo 6, but nothing else, because I mean, Crackdown's probably not going to come out this year.
State of Decay is probably not going to come out this year.
State of Decay, I didn't even, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of games that just probably aren't going to come out this year. And here's the thing, I don't even think Microsoft's going to make another console. I think they're just going to say the Xbox One X, that's our next console. Like we're going to support that and PC. Those are our lead platforms. Because it doesn't make sense for them. Because what are they going to do? Release another console that's going to get its lunch eaten by everything? I mean, what can they add to a console that's going to make people want to go out and get it? They have to have games, but here's the thing. Games take time and money to make, and it doesn't make sense for them to put it on their console solely because the Xbox has never really dominated a console gen. Like last gen, it did okay, but they still lost money on it. They lose money on the Xbox division hasn't turned a profit ever. Like ever, which is why they don't talk about how much money they made.
Some video related news that I forgot to mention. It involves Detective Pikachu coming to the West this March, along with a giant size amiibo.
Yeah, I heard about that. That amiibo is like $30.
Giant size?
Yeah, it's a $30 amiibo though.
And also alongside with the movie, they casted Ken Watanabe. Yeah. For the Detective Pikachu movie. And he'll be playing the role of a detective. Yoshida, that's his name.
I mean, I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad that
Ken Watanabe.
I feel kind of bad that Ken Watanabe, who won an Academy Award, is in a fucking Pokemon movie. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I like Pokemon.
I was gonna say it's not bad, but
yeah, it is.
Really,
it is.
I'm gonna get you right now with this. There's movies are far worse than Pokemon. far worse.
Yeah, but
And you're
Pokemon's
saying
in the
that
same. Pokemon's in the same family. Like Pokemon is in the same family as Nine Lives and and
The
Trans.
emoji movie.
Yeah, the Emoji Movie. It's just not like Pokemon movies are a guilty pleasure. I know Pokemon fans may enjoy them, but no one can ever argue that those are like I will never say that Pokemon should never be uttered in the same breath as a movie like Forrest Gump,
Like Citizen Kane.
or Citizen Kane, or The Godfather, or like really, really, really good movies.
I'm trying to say that it's not bad. That Pokemon is a middle movie, not a terrible movie.
Let me put it this way: even in terms of animation, I would not say Pokemon movies should be uttered in the same breath as Pixar movies. Like it's not.
That's all I'm trying to say. That it's not high end quality. I'm saying it's middle quality because there's something that's far worse, like the Emoji Movie. Some animations that I could say are total ripoffs from other nations.
I would say for me, Pokemon falls between, like, it's better than those shitty Chinese knockoff films. You know, like instead of Kung Fu Panda, it's like Karate.
Oh yeah,
Karate Bear.
Karate Bear.
Toy.
Yeah. Like that's in my mind. That's what I think of. Like Pokemon is not as bad as that. But I mean, even if you just put it in its own genre, it's not like top tier anime.
That's how
it's like
I say it's in the middle.
Yeah, it's not top tier anime. It's not the worst anime. It's not that shitty Chinese knockoff that's like like so badly animated it hurts your eyes to watch it.
I mean, it's quite obvious that the Studio Ghibli movies are far superior than the Pokemon movies.
I think there's but that's Hayao Miyazaki. That guy won an Academy Award for one of his films. I think it was Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke, one of those two. I mean,
it ultimately depends on a standard. Like from a character's story and setting, it's definitely going to be obsolete. But like as just an enjoyable film,
yeah,
it's that.
I mean, you know, like I said, if you're a Pokemon fan, you're gonna love Detective Pikachu. If you're a fan of good, well thought out, well written, well directed films, I don't know what to say. Go watch a Pixar film.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for mystery films.
Go watch WALL-E. Well, hell, go watch that awesome that 80s Disney film with the Sherlock Holmes mouse.
Oh, you mean The Great Mouse Detective?
Yeah, The Great Mouse Detective. That's going to be much better than Detective Pikachu. Trust me, it's not going to be that good.
Price.
Believe me, there is no Pokemon movie that I ever because the only Pokemon movie I saw in a movie theater was Pokemon the movie, the very first one. There is no Pokemon movie that anyone's gonna walk out of and say, you know what, that movie changed my life.
The people are gonna say that for the movie 2, movie 4. Movie 5.
I don't know.
Well, they say the third movie. Well, they can see the first. When you say the third movie, then the people will say that movie changed their lives because of the way, because of the story. Who just wanted to have a family.
I'll say this much about Detective Pikachu. I'll say this much about Pokemon movies. The first Pokemon movie made me realize how commercial and kind of lame Pokemon was because how the TV shows were, because how the you know, the anime and stuff like that was, because basically like what we got here in America, because basically it's like those movies are there to sell you toys and to sell the merchandise. They aren't there to actually, like, you know, educate you on, you know, if you're a Pokemon fan, how to basically have good strategies for playing Pokemon. And that's one of the problems. Like, because originally the show was made to get people who weren't into Pokemon and understand the rules and how to use it. And then over time, it just morphed into the Ash and Pikachu show. And whatever the featured Pokemon this season was.
Generation.
Whatever, season, generation, whatever. And I like at a certain point, I was like, over time, I was just like, man, fuck Ash and fuck his Pikachu too. I don't like these characters. You know what they need to do? They need to just kill off Ash and Pikachu. But the way they should do it is they should get Giovanni from Pokemon Generations, like that Giovanni that damn near killed Red's entire team. They need to get that Giovanni. And they need to have that Ash from that movie. Pikachu, use Thunder Shock on that Graveler. Go ahead.
Oh, you really hate him.
Go ahead.
At least send the boy off on a nice note for Star's sake.
No, I need all of them to die.
I think I'll give him some defense. Not against that dream team with his Charizard, Greninja, Astra Ninja, Sceptile,
Snorlax.
Yeah, whatever his.
Yeah, you can look. You can give him that dream team, but we all know he's just gonna throw out Pikachu.
Not all the time.
He ever does. That's
not
all
the
he ever
time.
Does.
I mean,
that's his MacGuffin Pokemon. He just throws out Pikachu.
It was Astra Ninja, I think, to a certain extent.
I know, because in the new one they were like really hyping up. It's Ash's Pikachu. It's Ash's Greninja. Isn't that badass? I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, yeah, whatever. Sit your ass.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, I'm an old man, and Pokemon just doesn't hold, like, the animated series doesn't hold any. Like, I was one of those people when I was a little kid, like much younger, not a little kid.
It's kind of sad that because of the Pokemon anime, Nintendo fans don't take the Pokemon series.
No, we don't take the anime.
Don't treat the anime.
We don't take the anime series.
I mean, there are Nintendo fans who don't play the Pokemon series because of the anime. They don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy Pokemon as much as Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Pikmin.
Well, because the anime for the longest time, the anime was just there to sell you merchandise. Like, it was all about selling. First it was the trading cards, and then it was like the toys and the games. And I understand they were trying to sell the games because it was based off of the games, but it just, like, it got ridiculous. And some of the typing they did, oh god, oh Jesus.
Trust me,
those typing errors.
Some of those are hit and miss.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times when I was younger I'd play Pokemon against people who had never played it before but watched that stupid ass show, and they would just throw out the same team as Ash and get their ass kicked because they didn't understand typing or attack typing or stats. I was like, and they get mad, but Ash defeated this Pokemon with Pikachu. I'm like, okay, you keep on thinking that, Junior.
We never seen people like these, or in public, or in official tournaments.
What were you saying, Dragon? I'm sorry.
The reason why Ash was able to defeat those trainers was because he had Pokemon Ami before Generation 6.
Yeah, but most of the time nowadays, yeah, he's like, because you notice a lot of times in the third, fourth, fifth seasons, you know, after the Kanto League, like when he was in a real jam, he'd go and he'd get one of his old Pokemon. It's like, I'm gonna get this Snorlax. I'm gonna get my Charizard. You know, I was like, first of all, it's stupid to just get rid of all your Pokemon and start from scratch over and over and over again. I'm not saying you shouldn't get a new starter and start building another team, but don't just
forget your crew.
Yeah, keep,
Well, they do, but if he, as shown in the Johto saga, if he keeps his old team, then there will be no challenge. nothing to merchant.
Oh, that's not necessarily true. Ash is kind of a shitty Pokemon trainer for a lot of it. So even with, because look, he sent his Charizard out, but he wasn't a good enough trainer to really control it. So he lost in the Kanto League. He should have been a sure win. He lost because he's kind of a shitty. At that time, he was a shitty trainer. He's gotten better. I'll give him that much. I mean, he couldn't beat Red from Generations though. He'd get his ass kicked, and I'd love to see that fight. Go Pikachu, go!
TV Tropes did cover the whole Ash versus Red thing, and they mentioned how favorite Red are misunderstand his characters because it's supposed to be you, the player.
That's my point. Man, I would look, man. If Pokemon were real and I was Red, I would fuck up Ash Ketchum 9 ways from Sunday. And then I would this is the Generations universe where Pokemon don't faint, they die. I would kill his fucking Pikachu too. Just because putting that little shit out there against a rock type.
You're really into killing, aren't you?
Use Thunder Shock.
You mean ground type?
Seriously, Thunder Shock against a rock type? Seriously, this thing deserves to die.
Ground type.
I don't care. Ground, rock. Look, if you use an electric type against a rock type / ground type, you deserve to have your Pokemon die. You deserve to lose that fight because you're stupid.
Unless it's a rock and water type, then the owner.
Yeah, but I mean, generally speaking, people aren't going to do that unless they too are also stupid. Unless you have a Kabutops, and it knows Earthquake, then you're okay.
Yeah.
But but generally speaking, people don't. But that's neither here nor there. We've gone over time. I'm glad everyone who was here. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Thank you for people who contributed and said stuff because we like that. Nope. In Ash versus Paul, Infernape was his ace in the hole. Yeah, Infernape is cool. Bad writing is what made him forget his best moves. Trinell 83.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's there to sell your product. It's not there to make sense. That's why I think if they want to get people like me back into Pokemon, just do a series. Just do a series that's more serious and actually goes over strategies and stuff like that. That doesn't have Ash Ketchum.
Kind of like with card game, kind of like how Mother's Basement did a video how anime is doing everything wrong with card games where they should have been focused more on the aspects of.
Yu-Gi-Oh does that and also does it on at least in Reigns. I don't know if it's going to fall like Arc 5 did.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying the original Yu-Gi-Oh, like the first 2 series, with Yugi and all those different characters, and Seto Kaiba. It's like they actually explain the rules. I mean, they kind of bended it a little bit, but generally speaking, you got the overall rules of Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that from the television series, the cartoon. I mean, Pokemon, look, like I said, I can't tell you the amount of the amount of ass kickings I handed out from people who just watched that show, begged their parents to get the toy, get the game, played it, and built a team just like Ash on the TV show. And then they got their ass kicked because I'm like, this isn't really a good team. Ash Ketchum is not a good Pokemon trainer. At least he wasn't back then. I mean, he's gotten better over the time, but he's still not that good though. He really isn't. I mean, haven't you noticed he never beat Giovanni, not once? Like his nemesis are Jesse and James. They're like the shittiest members of Team Rocket. Like they're terrible. Yeah. They're worse than he is.
Yeah. But the best thing that happened to Team Rocket was beating Ash fair and square in a Pokemon battle
in Sun and Moon.
And it was on a beach episode of all episodes.
Yeah,
I don't really watch Pokemon anymore. So, like, the only Pokemon that I was interested in that I actually enjoyed was Generations, because it actually got dark and
You old
gritty, how
school.
Pokemon really is.
You old
Yeah,
school
yeah.
scrub.
And I also liked seeing Red, because Red showed how badass he was. Like he captured Mewtwo. Mewtwo evolved. He captured Mewtwo, which showed at that time he caught all 151 Pokemon. You know, he retired on top. I like that. I think that's badass as hell. Plus, he fought Giovanni a second time and beat him. You know, like, I mean, I'm like, do that series. Pokemon people do that, or you could do that series where people fuse with Pokemon and like
Pokemon
they
Burst.
fight.
They already did Pokemon Burst, and that manga wasn't as good.
Yeah, but it was more interesting to me than fucking what we have here with Ash and Pikachu and Professor Oak, who's always going with Ash's mom. They just won't say it. Like, what? Hey, man, how come every time I call my mom, you're at my house, dude? Never you mind about that, Ash. Why are you wearing a robe, dude? At my house.
As I said, TMI.
Never you mind, Ash. I've got your Snorlax at the ranch. It's like, why is this dude always at my house? And where's Ash's dad? Well, actually, yeah, they did have that episode where you met Ash's dad.
Well, they dad once and never again.
Yeah, but at least they were like, okay, fine, then we'll throw you a bone. Here's Ash's dad. By the way, he looks just like him, except he has a beard and he's a little bit taller. Basically, like, here's his dad. I'm like, dude, go home. Professor Oak is well, he's showing his oak to your wife, dude. Go home. 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 Or when you finally do go home, Ash is going to be calling Professor Oak his daddy. Please go home. I know that's I've gone too far.
You're a real ham.
Yeah. I don't know he did to become the Frontier Brain. To achieve that feat, you have to be competent. Well, Pokemon Generations wasn't a mini movie. It was just like a series of like smaller vignettes. No. It was like an OVA. It was an OVA. And I liked it. I think they should make that into a series.
Did that come out in like the same year as Sun and Moon release?
I think it was X and Y.
Yeah.
X and Y.
No, it was during X and Y's release.
Yeah, they did Generations for X and Y, and then for Sun and Moon they did like Generation Zero, which was like side stories. Like, for once, like, you know how derpy Dragonite looks. In the Generations follow up, they did this thing where Lance is like breaking into the Team Rocket hideout at Lake Rage with his Dragonite, and that Dragonite was badass as hell. I'm like, man, if they did an anime like that.
Oh, and while we're discussing Pokemon, here's an image showcasing quotes of all of the bosses from the past Pokemon games, including the present one, all the way to potential boy Kuzma.
Well, like I said, Giovanni, in my opinion, is the best villain because everyone else is kind of like a knockoff of Giovanni, especially that Team Flare guy, that douchebag.
What? He's the hero everyone deserves. You'll like him more because he's into killing as well.
Not really, no. Because when you really think about it, it's kind of stupid. He's like, I'm going to save the world and all of these Pokemon by killing them. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
He's out there.
Yeah, you seem kind of stupid to me, Lysander. I'm not stupid, you're stupid. Like, that's what they need to have in Sun and Moon Ultra. If they do an anime about that, they need to have Giovanni come up there and just slap the shit out of Lysander.
Trust me, they will someday, because right now they're doing the Ultra Beast arc.
Yeah, they need to have that where Lysander's like, the only way I can save the world is by destroying people. Giovanni's like, get the fuck out of here, you punk. Oh, why'd you hit me? Because you're a bitch.
But I doubt they're gonna bring back all the previous bosses because.
No, I just want Giovanni to backhand Lysander in the face because he's annoying.
Yes.
He's annoying.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, Giovanni was the best villain because basically he
at least knew who he was doing.
He had a clear-cut goal that made sense.
But Guzma, but what about Guzma? He's like Giovanni as well. He doesn't.
I guess I'll go ahead. I might kind of disagree there and say Cyrus probably was the.
Yeah, Cyrus.
But Cyrus is also the hero we deserve because we know that no war exists.
No, I still gotta go with Giovanni just because he had a clear-cut goal. He wasn't out to destroy the world. He just wanted power and money, and he had
same with Guzma.
That's it. He just wanted power and money. He didn't want to kill anybody. Okay.
It applies with Guzma, except he does it gangsta style rather than mafia style.
Yeah, but the gangsters are knockoff mafiosos. And they'll never be as good as never be as good as the mafia.
But the thug life is a lot more carefree than the mafia.
Still not as bad.
They can do whatever they want.
Let me put it this way. Who's more dangerous, 50 Cent or Michael Corleone?
Both are pretty dangerous.
Enough said. No, Michael Corleone. Michael Corleone's way more dangerous than 50.
I said both are dangerous in their own way, but
in any movie,
I say Michael Corleone for the big concept.
In any movie that 50 Cent has been in where he plays a gangster, he would never come close to ever being as dangerous as Michael Corleone is. Because Michael Corleone is smart. He's not moved by passion. He's very methodical, very practical, very pragmatic.
Now I wish to see an R-rated action movie where it's a battle between a thug group versus a mafia group.
Yeah, they already have those. They aren't very good though.
Oh, we already have? What movie was it called?
I mean, they're like B-grade action movies that kind of suck. They're not very good. They hit the movie theater or they went straight to DVD. That's why I can't tell you which ones they are. But you can go on Google and look them up. See, Giovanni says putting together the potential of many is how you produce a huge power. That's what an organization is. That's the strength of an organization. Yeah, because he's the mafia boss. And then you have that dude from Alpha. I forgot his name.
Archie.
Yeah, Archie. Yeah, everything depends on the seed. Dude, you just released a Pokemon that's going to destroy the world. Maybe I fucked up. No, you think? And then the Team Magma guy's the same way. Yes, we'll create more land. You just released a Pokemon that's going to destroy the entire world. Yeah, maybe I messed up on that one. Yeah, you think? Dumbass. And then you have the guy from...
you mean Cyrus?
Cyrus, yeah.
Isn't he from Black and White?
No, Diamond and Pearl.
Oh yeah, Diamond and Pearl. I'm sorry, it's been so long since I played that game, and I really, I mean, he's basically trying to kill people. That's never cool. Yeah, here's the dude after him. I created Team Plasma with my own hands. Dude, you're fucking insane.
That's why he's my favorite Pokemon villain because he's insane. He's really a monster.
He also fucking raised a child soldier in N. He basically raised a child soldier. He's insane. I really wish Giovanni would have him killed. It's like, look, Team Rocket and sub bosses. Yeah, I want you to take a couple of bats and beat this guy to death. How are we gonna use Zubats to beat him to death? No, not Zubats. Baseball.
Real bats.
Real bats. No wonder you keep on losing. You're using Zubats. I meant baseball bats, son. And you have Lysander. I'm going to save the world by killing a whole bunch of people and Pokemon. Free the Pokemon. It's like, wait a second, motherfucker. I mean, like Lysander, looking at Lysander talking about how he wants to save the Pokemon by killing the Pokemon is like, it must be like how Darth Vader felt when he was losing that fight with his son in Return of the Jedi. And the Emperor's like, well, strike him down and take your place at my side. I know Darth Vader's like, motherfucker, what? After all the things I've done to be cast aside so quickly.
Some things just write themselves to WTF.
And then you have the dude in Sun and Moon who's just kind of, I mean, I was like, whatever. You're
but
no
everyone
Giovanni.
loves him
You're
because
a
of
poser.
the way he acts.
Well, I mean, he's funny, but he's no Giovanni. Like I said, here's the problem with Pokemon. They haven't really made a villain that was as clear cut and not as not a walking punchline. Because Giovanni would get in your ass, and I like that about him. He was very, no messing around. He was, I might have to beat your ass. I'm sorry. I might have to take a baseball bat and beat. I might have to take a couple of bats and have your ass beat. Zubats? No, really. Ash Ketchum, come here. Look, take these baseball bats and beat him with it. And his Pikachu, too. You can't do that. Yes, I can. I'm a mob boss.
As there are people who are demanding for deeper stories in Pokemon, they need to make the villains more deeper and more complex than Giovanni.
Or, they could just do what I suggested, which is just start a new series that's deeper, more in-depth, more interested in storytelling than selling you toys. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to.
They already did it with the mystery dungeons.
They don't have to do. Well, that's all about friendship. That's not a deeper story.
Oh,
we're friends. Everything can be solved because we're friends.
Clearly, you haven't played Explorers of Time and Space.
Yeah, that's friends. We can solve this together because we're friends and open up our hearts. I hate animes like that. That's what kind of made Naruto kind of hit the skids for me, because it's like this should have just been just a cataclysmic final fight and Naruto becomes the Hokage. No, they're friends. Even though this guy tried to kill.
And it also clear cuts of the difference between comics and manga, because in comics the only way to defeat a villain is by either exploiting their weak spots or, depending if they become more omnipotent,
or just become more powerful than them and beat the shit out of them, kind of like Dragon Ball Z. or Goku, or as Goku.
That's on the manga side. That's for the manga. In comics, the hero had to defeat the villain by exploiting a weakness.
Not
or
really.
By outsmarting them.
Dragon Ball, it was just basically he'd learn some new ability and it would save him in the end. Like he learned the Dragon Punch from Kami, and that let him defeat Daimon Piccolo. That's how he defeated him in Dragon Ball. He learned the Kaioken from King Kai, and that's what helped him defeat, or at least do major damage to Vegeta and Nappa. He learned strength manipulation. He turned Super Saiyan in the Frieza saga, and that let him defeat Frieza. And
then he turned Super Saiyan 2 to defeat Cell. Oh wait, he didn't defeat Cell.
He didn't defeat Cell. His son learned Super Saiyan 2 and combined with his rage ability in order to defeat Cell and become the next hero. And they completely shit all over that legacy with the Boo saga and GT, which we won't even speak of.
Enough said.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about.
Then Goku learns the powers, but still loses.
Yeah, I haven't watched Dragon Ball Super. Like, I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, nope. I haven't gone back, and I'm okay with that, because Dragon Ball Super just It's Dragon Ball is once
It's a
again turning
mess.
into the Vegeta and Goku show. Vegeta, who I like to call superpowered Wolverine, because like Wolverine, Vegeta talks mad shit and then winds up getting his ass kicked. I'm gonna rip your face off. I am the prince of all Saiyans. But that's only like two people.
Well, in later episodes, Majin Buu, Android 17 and 18 are also part of the group, as well as Gohan.
I can defeat all of you. I am the prince of all Saiyans. Can you beat me, Vegeta? I need to shut the fuck up and be quiet now. That's what I thought. But I am the prince of all Saiyans. You know what? I just wish we had the future Trunks. I'm Trunks. Shut the fuck
They're
up.
in the
I'm
future
not talking about you. I'm talking about
right
real
now.
Trunks. Real Trunks.
They already have future Trunks going.
Real Trunks, not that little bitch from Dragon Ball Z and GT.
Yeah, there is in this future Trunks saga.
Real Trunks, damn it! Real Trunks.
Yeah, it is indeed the real Trunks.
I'm being facetious. Basically, here's the thing: people want to save Dragon Ball Z. Here's how you do it: kill off Goku and Vegeta, let Gohan take his place, and have his hero's journey. And that's how you do it. Because you could have him having to get from out of his father's shadow and become his own man. And you could have Piccolo once again step in as the new father. Because, I mean, let's be frank. Really, Piccolo's Goku's dad anyway. I mean, Gohan's dad. Anyway.
Oh.
Because Gohan, I mean, Goku's most of his time is dead or training. So, and Piccolo's like, stop being a little crybaby bitch. Be a man. Hell, even Piccolo even got to tell Vegeta to stop being a whiny little bitch. Stop crying. I'm the prince of all Saiyans, that must have been an awkward
Moment.
Awkward moment because they both have the same voice actor, Christopher Sabat.
Yeah.
Stop being a little bitch. But Broly's too powerful. Whatever, bitch. He didn't say bitch, but still. But anyway, that's the end of this podcast. I'm glad everyone could join us. Those of you who are listening, I'm glad you could be there to listen. You said that Ash became the Frontier Brain. I mean, like I said, but that was like 4 or 5 seasons in when they did the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald portion of the show. I mean, that was years, okay? Like literally years. I know Ash doesn't really age, but that was still friggin' years. So I mean, he's not a very good Pokemon trainer. Not really. He's still not a very good. It's like if it took you 5 years to learn your multiplication tables. People would say you're slow. But that being said, that's the end of this podcast. I'm glad everyone could join. We went a little bit over time, about 45 minutes, but hey, sometimes that happens. Yeah. This is BS Buster. Sometimes we razzmatazz. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Oh yeah. I should mention that Toonami just did a game review on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp last night.
Really? What'd they give it?
They gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
All right. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know.
It's not bad, but it's kind of hot in the middle of the good section.
I find it shocking because ever since the Toonami got revived, they haven't reviewed a single Nintendo game ever up until now. Wild or Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
They only reviewed Sony games, Microsoft games, and third-party and indie games.
Well, it's probably because in order for a game to get reviewed by them, like it's a form of advertisement, so they probably are paid to review those games. And they probably got a budget to review Super Mario Odyssey and probably not the budget to review, and we know Sony puts a lot of money into marketing because it's not because their games are really good. Mostly, in my opinion, that's subjective, but but yeah, so
that's about it. I could pimp out.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to pimp out? Anything. Anything. Dragon?
I just made a channel update video earlier today. Pretty much just basically on schedule update and probably a new video series. Maybe sometime this week. Yeah.
All right. All right. Joel?
I said I'm good since I don't got much as far as something to write down right now.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox. I might have some videos coming next week. Nothing major. Just more like me showing how to defeat certain bosses in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Hints, tips, tricks, that type of thing. I uploaded a video yesterday, or maybe it was
on how to defeat Ophion.
On how to defeat Ophion. So it's a tough son of a gun. Level 117, thousands of health. It's a slog, but you can pull it off if you're high enough level and you can kit it out correctly. So there you go. I'll upload some more videos. I'll show how to defeat one of the tougher bosses in Temperatia, the manta ray looking place later on. So look forward to that, and peace. Good night.
And beware of juices.